Hello and welcome to Tuesday's Tips and Tales. As last week I promised you I would do a quick note on maceration in perfumery, so here goes. So what is maceration? Well, imagine a beautiful melody, different instruments playing their individual notes. Maceration is like letting those instruments rehearse together. It's the period where fragrance oils marry, allowing their distinct scents to meld and create a harmonious and complex aroma. Think of a freshly baked pie. The crust and filling might taste good separately, but the magic happens when they bake together, creating a richer and more cohesive flavour. Experience and maceration works similarly for perfumes. We've all been there. We've made a stew, perhaps a lamb stew like my husband loves, or a corned beef hash that I love, or even a chicken curry. Now, all of these always taste better the next day. Why? Well, it's because the flavours have had a chance to come together and become harmonious and create this richer flavour profile. And it is the same for perfumes. And fragrance oils are a symphony of aromatic molecules, each evaporating at different rates. So like top notes, like citrus notes, are the first instruments we perceive. They're volatile and evaporate quickly. Heart notes, often spicy or herbal, take centre stage next, offering a more nuanced fragrance experience. Even heavier florals like jasmine and tuberose and frangipani are mostly heart notes, and they are taking on the heart of the fragrance. And base notes like vanilla or musk provide depth and longevity. So maceration, let's have a look at the magic behind the curtain. There's no wizard there, but there is magic. And during maceration, these molecules that I've just mentioned interact and find their sweet spot within the blend. Volatile top notes mellow, giving way to the heart and base notes, and this allows the fragrance to evolve over time, which in turn reveals its full complexity. Imagine a freshly brewed cup of coffee. Initially, the strong aroma of the roast might hit you, but as the coffee sits, the subtle floral and chocolate notes emerge, creating a more well-rounded experience. Maceration is like that for perfume. The golden rule: patience is a virtue and a great fragrance. Generally, fragrances benefit from a 4 to 6 week maceration period. Now, I went to Fragrantly. This is a general rule. And when they give you a free tour, Fragrantly in Grasse, which is a must visit, and one of the biggest, most popular fragrance houses, mostly due to its location. It's right in the centre of Grasse, and you can't miss it. It's a giant yellow building. They give free tours, and in there they'll show you some of these tanks where they're storing some of their fragrance oils, and it will actually have a date on it of when they created it, and then it will have a date of when it's ready for it to be used and diluted in alcohol and then create a finished product. These are the neat oils in these huge vats that store hundreds of litres, if not 1,000 litres of neat blended fragrance oils. And some of them, I noticed when I looked at the writing, some of them had a maceration period of 4 weeks, some 5, and some 6. But they understand what this maceration period is, and they make a note of when it's hit that sweet spot. And once it's hit that sweet spot, they stop. They don't need to let it macerate any longer, and then they'll take it, dilute it, and create the finished fragrance. But this depends on the ingredients as well. Citrusy blends perhaps might peak sooner, while heavier oriental fragrances like amber and oud, they might require a little bit longer. There is a little tale that the legendary Chanel No. 5 is rumoured to have gone under a year-long maceration process before its iconic debut in 1921. Is this fact or is this fiction? I'm not sure, but it is a nice little rumour. But I'm absolutely sure that these days Chanel will not wait for a year, because a lot of times it's just not financially viable for a perfume house to undergo an extremely long maceration period of 1 year. And that's why they're using around 4 to 6 weeks is enough of a period for it to macerate. Because let's face it, no perfumes would ever get made if we waited for a year for it to macerate. And if you look at like renowned perfumers, let's say like Guerlain and Dior, they're known for their meticulous attention to detail, including extended maceration times to achieve the depth and complexity that their fragrances are revered for. But not all fragrance houses will do that. And I know that Guerlain, I mean, they always create incredibly complex, particularly with vanilla. And do they overuse vanilla? Perhaps. But they are really quality fragrances. And is it because they are using this extended maceration time? Who knows? Maybe I'll get to interview Thierry Vasseur, who is the master perfumer for Guerlain. He joined in 2010. And maybe he knows the secret to their fragrances. So if you are an indie perfumer and you have the time to let this maceration process be extended, then by all means do it. But mostly commercially, 4 to 6 weeks is a good, viable time. The maceration process actually never really stops. It slows down immensely after this period, but that's why you get vintage perfumes, and over time they become darker and they become more richer and aromatic. But whether you are a seasoned nose or a curious beginner, it is essential for creating your own scent. So please resist the urge to judge your fragrance too soon. You need to let your blends macerate for these 4 to 6 weeks before making final decisions. Whether this is with your experimental diluted blend or whether it's with the final neat blend, you have to be patient. You really do have to do this maceration period because you're going to be making a judgment call on something that might change after another couple of weeks. It might become better. It might become worse. It might need more modifications. But during this time, you can revisit your blend regularly and take notes on how the scent evolves. You know, does this initial harshness that you noticed in the beginning, does it soften? Do new notes emerge that you didn't notice before? And this olfactory journaling will help you to refine your creations. So make notes. You can either do it on a spreadsheet, Google Docs. I like to make notes on paper, and I have specific pads for them. You can have a filing system, whatever is most comfortable to you, but do this olfactory journaling of your fragrance and take notes of how it develops. And I would say take a note of how it develops over the first 24 hours. Then I would wait another 3 days. Then I would wait another 4 days. So then you've got a week there. So you've got 24 hours, 3 days and 1 week journaling. And then what I would do is keep waiting each week. Week 2 then, week 3, week 4, perhaps if you feel it needs more, week 5 and week 6, and notice how it changes. And it's incredible. Only like my students that do my courses are just so amazed by this. And I ram this down their throats basically in a nice fragrant way. But I tell them about this technique and they're gobsmacked by what they notice throughout this, because when they're doing their experiments and they start off by creating horizontal and vertical and descriptive accords for the first assignment, and I always tell them that you have to wait for it to macerate for at least 24 hours to notice how it changes, even during a 24-hour window. When I was studying at the Grasse Institute of Perfumery, one of the very first blends we made was a simple 2-note blend, a 2-note accord of lavender and geranium. We created it. It was, I think, perhaps 6 drops of lavender, actually we didn't use drops, we used weights, but it was perhaps 0.6 of lavender and 0.4 of geranium, and then we took it home with us that night to wherever it was we were staying in Grasse. And then we came home the next day and we compared our notes for what we thought of it the day before and what we think of it now, and how it's changed over just 24 hours. 24 little hours. What a difference a day makes. So imagine if a day makes that much difference. Imagine what a week and a month will make. So next time you spritz on your favourite scent, take a moment to appreciate the artistry and the science behind it. The captivating aroma that you experience is a testament to the power of maceration, the patient process that transforms a collection of notes into a truly unforgettable, flabbergasting fragrance. So if you have any questions about maceration or any DIY perfume experiences that you would like to share, then let me know. Drop me a mail, mjn@bymelaniejane.com. M for Melanie, J for Jane, N for Nightingale, @bymelaniejane.com. Drop me an email, or you can go into my website, thescentacademy.com, go into the contact form, and you can get hold of me there. Or you can send me a WhatsApp. My details are on the website. And perhaps you want me to share a DIY story of yours. I love sharing. I love educating people, and to share other people's stories as well is a great experience, not just for you to get your story out there, but also for me to share it and other people to listen to other people that are probably in the same situation or have been in the same situation as where they are now. And you can provide them some insight and some inspiration. So that's it. A very quick, beautiful little episode. Beautiful, if I do say so myself, because everything about fragrance is beautiful. Let's face it, especially my growing fragrance bottle collection, which my friend just gifted me 17 perfume bottles that she got from a lady that was having a clear out. Got some amazing things. If you go on my Facebook or YouTube channel, The Scent Academy, you will be able to see some images and videos of my scent stashes. It's growing every week as I go to flea markets in France and collect even more. And I'm going to do a podcast about flea markets and collecting. And if you want to start collecting, or if you've just started collecting, or if you're an experienced collector, you might learn something from my podcast episode that I am going to be creating in the near future to give you tips and what you need to know when you're starting or growing a fragrance bottle collection, and things that you need to avoid that will save you a lot of money. So that's it. Take care until next time's Tuesday's Tips and Tales. You never know, the next one might be a bit personal about my journey. Part 1 of 10 or 20. Take care, a biento, and stay fabulous.